Hi-ho, everybody. Welcome to the 28th exciting episode of
Hey man, nice Kiss shirt.
I'm your humble host, Fido. This is your humble co-host, Powie.
I'm Powie.
And we're going to get right into it. I do want to kick off this episode. I want to
rock and roll all night.
And party every day. I do. I also want our Hey Man,
nice Kiss shirt
people to send all your good vibes to Powie. He lost Schmoopy this week. The Schmoopinator. May she rest in peace. Beautiful cat. I loved her. Powie obviously loved her.
That was her mama.
Yep, he was a good mama. And she lived a good many years. He spoiled the poop out of her.
I did.
We don't even know how old she was, but a lot of good years with the Schmoopster. So
we bonded.
This one's for her.
She adopted me.
Yep. Where are we this week?
28.
July 2nd.
July 2.
We're gonna
Bret Hart's birthday.
Hey, as a matter of fact, you know that and I don't.
Best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Oh, hey, guess what I forgot to do? Hey kids, it's another dispatch from Fido's basement. There are actually a couple of things I forgot to do. The first was turn on another light during the recording of the pod. And you know what they say? I think it was Joseph Kiss Sr. that once said, haste makes waste, especially if you're shit-faced. Maybe that's not what he said. I also forgot to focus on our t-shirts this episode. Brian is, of course, sporting the Psycho Circus Halloween Dodger Stadium tee. And I have to thank Xander from Kiss Army Things for this delightful Kiss Unplugged promo shirt. We worked ourselves out a little trade, and I'm digging it. Somebody saw me wearing this thing and said, hey man, nice Kiss shirt. Truly, it was an organic experience, and it reminded me just how lucky we all are to have this brotherhood, sisterhood, fanhood, where you can be walking down the street in your everyday clothes and make a new friend just like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to do is pop in and say thanks to Xander and Kiss Army Things and to the Kiss Museum. This shirt was the first thing that was packaged in said museum. So yeah, shout out to Peter and Xander, Daphne, Jeb. Shout out to all of you. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Let's get back to the pod. Alrighty then. Let's jump right in. July 2nd. List all the ways 80s Kiss was better than the average hair metal band. Well, I think the answer is right there in the question. Average hair metal band. I mean, even if we look at the upper echelon of hair metal bands, I mean, obviously they owe a huge debt to Kiss. All hair metal bands do. That was an emphasis on presentation, style over substance. In most cases, there were some notable exceptions. I think there were bands that got, just simply because of when they came onto the scene, they got lumped into hair metal, and they didn't really sort of deserve that.
Like who?
Superficial label.
Like who?
Winger.
Winger. You're right. I begrudgingly agree.
I will.
They got a bad rap.
I can definitely. I imagine that you never really gave Winger too much bandwidth. But
we saw him.
I could turn you on to. Yeah. We saw him with Kiss and.
No, I saw him with Cinderella and Bullet Boys.
Oh.
I was a big Bullet Boys guy because I thought Mark Torian was like a cross between David Lee Roth and Aretha Franklin.
Well, and there we go. There's another. Bullet Boys were a great band. They got lumped into the hair metal thing.
They did.
And here's where Brian and I are going to differ a little bit, because I got that first Poison record and I liked it. And you probably didn't.
I heard Nothing But a Good Time, and I heard the beginning, and I said they are just
ripping off. Wait, isn't that on the second record? Though?
It might be.
Well, wait.
Let's Open Up and Say Ah.
Yeah. See,
Look What the Cat Dragged In is the first one.
Look What the Cat Dragged In.
And then Open Up and Say Ah was the second one.
And I believe Nothing But a Good Time's on that. I could be wrong. Again, I kind of jumped ship on Poison after that first record.
It's Talk Dirty to Me, right?
Yeah.
I thought that they were ripping Kiss off.
Well, come on. Deuce and Nothing But a Good Time. I mean, that opening riff. But I mean, that's something that, like, that's a reason for me to like them, not to hate them. You know what I mean? I rip off Kiss all you want, I guess. I mean, but again, there were so many. Another one, I feel, you know, that caught a bad rap. Cinderella.
Oh yeah,
was not really
saw them with
metal band. Faster Pussycat. Again, a case of a great first album. Kind of similar to Poison. Well, I mean, I don't know, but in my realm,
I did like the first album.
I dropped off.
I thought they were going to be big too. I said, like, these guys are going to be big.
Yeah, and they were killer live.
They were. Saw them.
Yeah, but so yeah, I mean, come on, no, we're talking about Kiss. We're talking about Kiss here.
I mean, they set the standard for what the '80s hair metal bands, and then they kind of just jumped in and was like, it doesn't matter because we're Kiss. We can, and the show was still bigger than most of the other 80s bands.
They were still trying to maintain that leading edge.
Pyrotechnics.
But even in my, 80s, like, Crazy Nights is, notoriously at the bottom of my list. Even though I'm proudly sporting the Crazy Nights program behind you. That was a good live show. Super high energy.
No, yeah, didn't you? No, that was Hot in the Shade where they opened with I Stole Your Love, right?
Yeah,
yeah. It's, and I was thinking 80s hair metal bands that Kiss blew away or was better than or whatever. But then the Mighty Van Halen in 1982, Kiss could not touch them.
No, nobody could.
And like, I forget when Aerosmith went down, and it was
Done with Mirrors.
Done with Mirrors was the one with Lightning Strikes, right? Or was
no?
That was the comeback. Lightning Strikes was the one before that where it had Steven Tyler but no Joe Perry. Rockin' a Hard Place. That's the one I couldn't remember. And I couldn't remember
Charlie Crespo.
They came
back.
Or
not Jimmy Crespo.
They came back though with Done with Mirrors. Is that right?
Yeah.
And that was Let the Music Do the Talking.
Yep.
And that was Joe Perry and Steven Tyler. So Aerosmith got it back, like, in the 80s and then into the 90s, obviously. And then Kiss was chasing them.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's hard to make the case that, I mean, they were clearly trend chasing, and I think that's why 80s Kiss suffered, not only at the time but also in retrospect to us older fans. But still, I mean, strip all their misguided motives and questionable management choices or what have you. Take all that away, and you've still got Gene and Paul, and you've still got and again, I have grown to retroactively love Bruce more than I did at the time, but I mean the talent, just the songs, I mean the songs on Asylum that's when I feel they started to harken back to the riffage that Kiss was known for. I mean, I could go on and on, but let's not. Let's move on to July 3rd. What 70s sci-fi movie reminds you the most of Kiss? Why did you choose this particular movie? Bonus points if the Dynasty Tour guitar solo prompted your answer.
My answer is kind of strange, but it's Logan's Run.
I'm interested in hearing this.
It just takes me back to that time. I don't know when Logan's Run came out. I don't know if it was
76
or 77. Farrah Fawcett was in it, and it was the
Mhm.
big thing. And I mentioned this on a previous episode. They advertised that Farrah Fawcett was going to be in this new movie, a sci-fi movie called Logan's Run, and she got off in the first 10 minutes of the.
I was gonna try to issue a no spoilers alert,
but it just takes me back to
Jenny Agutter. Can we just talk about Jenny?
It was that time, that just for some reason, if I think about it, and Star Wars in '77, obviously, I mean, was the biggest thing in the world,
and that's my answer. That's what reminds me the most of Kiss. And of course, merchandise had a lot to do with it. And
Absolutely.
the fact that, not only were the things I was, that was still relatively a new phenomenon at that point of having something, a multi-pronged media attack of an entity like Kiss or like Star Wars. Not only can I watch it, I can listen to it, I can eat it, I can play with it. It's just it covers all the bases.
Yeah, they didn't even do that really with King Kong. Maybe they had a King Kong action figure. I know they had the poster.
I had the lunchbox before I had my Kiss lunchbox. I was a King Kong nut. I went to Burger King and got the glasses.
Oh, okay.
Remember the King Kong glasses?
I think so. That I begged my father to take me to that film, and I went to see it, and I fell asleep.
Oh, man. My dad took me to see that, and my dad took me. We stood in line to see Star Wars when it came out.
Wow,
my dad was actually excited to see Star Wars.
I missed the boat.
Oh man, it was so good. But to give a nod to Rick's prompting here of Close Encounters.
Oh right.
I do remember getting, I don't know if it was a Starlog, there was a special poster issue magazine about Close Encounters, and that did take up a lot of my brain space at that time. That movie was definitely in the mix, and it definitely captured my imagination. But as far as looking back at those nostalgic memories, and Kiss and Star Wars that's the one that was really intertwined.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So moving on to July 4th, what is your favorite Kiss stage pyrotechnic?
Fire. Fire.
It's all fire.
It's fire, man. I don't know. I like the. Do you feel right?
Oh, yeah, that moment. Okay, right. Okay, that. Yeah, I mean that'll put goose pimples on your arms and stand the hair on your neck up.
I was shocked because it was my first concert and they did it on the Creatures.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure they did, because the pyro, I could feel the pyro, I could feel the heat, and that just blew me away.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's so hot.
How
can they be up there?
Yeah.
How can they be so close to it? And I'm standing back here on the floor, kind of in the middle.
Right. I could feel it at the Silverdome.
Oh wow!
I mean, we weren't at the back of the room, but we weren't close either. But,
right.
I mean,
that's
But I mean that moment, like the one you referred to in 100,000 Years, I just even remember, looking at the pictures, in the Alive book, and just instinctively knowing that was what was going on when at that moment with that big chord and just the anticipation that builds.
I have no idea.
So I mean,
caught me by surprise.
That is amazing.
I must say.
I will admit that I also, even before I ever saw the thing, I mean, I saw it in the film, I saw it in Frankenstein, but the lightning machine.
That was cool. And I never saw it live, but I did see it, on film. And I was like, that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
One of the things, too, is when I saw Creatures, I had no idea that Gene flew at that point. It was 82, 83.
Yeah.
It just turned 83. And I had no idea that Gene flew up into
Yeah.
Onto the
Same when at Dynasty.
That was
That took me by surprise.
Right.
But I mean, everything else did too, because we weren't at that point sophisticated enough. You know, at least me and my buddies were not sophisticated enough to. You know, we weren't tracking down. You know, nobody had a VCR. You know, you didn't see what Kiss did on stage. The mystique, people. That's why we're old dudes just sitting here talking about this.
The young people don't get it. Maybe they do. Maybe they got like a. But when you want to see Kiss every day on TV, and they're not on TV every day, and you just don't know what they look like. You don't know what they do. There's so much mystery wrapped up in that, and there's no substitute for that in terms of like building up your imagination and your adoration and your worship. And yeah, I mean, phew, just amazing. Okay, moving on. I want to make this a short episode, and so we're trying our best here. Go short.
If you think I didn't give any of these topics enough juice, that's what the comments are for.
That's what the comments are for.
That's right. Please let us know. Please elaborate. On July 5th, every band has a dip in popularity, usually followed by a comeback album. What do you feel is the comeback album for Kiss, and why?
It had to be Lick It Up. I mean, just in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They were on their ass
mm-hmm.
in 82, 83, 80, and then Lick It Up came out in 84, right? And
Lick It Up was 83.
Everybody was going nuts because they took the makeup off, and it was kind of a deal. And the single, they had a hit single, and that's something that Michael Jackson had told Paul, like, oh, I know what you need to do. You need to write a hit. It's like, duh. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And by golly, they got a hit. And that, I mean, they weren't getting radio play even before that. Not really bad.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky here, you know.
Because Michigan.
Detroit having 4 stations. And at one point,
CKLW.
Flint's Best Rock even had a moment where we were the #1 radio station in the country.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, so we were kind of spoiled, you know, I Was Made for Loving You was all over the radio. I remember Calling Dr. Love hit the radio pretty hard. Beth, of course. But I mean, I couldn't have really said it better than Brian with Lick It Up. I mean, that's a pretty solid comeback, you know. And for me, on my timeline, you know, my dark ages of Kiss, going from Unmasked to Lick It Up, those albums in between, I wasn't keeping up on that. Like I've often said, one of my favorite records. I mean, how can I love The Elder and I love Creatures? How can you not love Creatures? You know, that you could, even though as fractured as they were, that was a return to form sonically, I guess, with the power of Kiss.
It was.
But I mean, I wouldn't call it a comeback. I just think in terms of the way they were all over the radio and MTV, Lick It Up. I hadn't moved back to Michigan yet, but I did move out of the country into a city, and I started seeing more things. And I remember coming up and spending that summer with my dad and going through the newspaper, looking through the free press. I was probably looking for movie listings or something, and I see the first picture they printed was one of the outtakes of the cover of Lick It Up. Gene, not with his tongue out, but with his arms crossed and just kind of like a badass look on his face. And then a picture, you know, in Creatures garb above it. And that was the first time, that was just like out of the blue. I had no idea it was coming. I didn't see the MTV segment, saw that in the free press, and I took it to Myers on Hill Road, and you could put quarters in like a gumball machine and get these like laminate stickers. Yeah, I still have my self-laminated unmasked clipping. But yes, I mean that, I'd really think about that moment and just being just completely blindsided by the fearsome foursome out of makeup. But yeah, the answer is Lick It Up. July 6th asks, what merchandise and concession stand treat makes a Kiss concert even more special? Why?
I don't.
Have you ever enjoyed a concession stand treat at a Kiss concert? Do joints count?
Beers. I had a lot of beers at Kiss concerts, so that was my favorite concession stand treat. A lot of beers.
Yes,
a lot of beers.
Yeah. I like hitting that reefer at them Kiss concerts myself. Who would dare knock on my... I can't.
In the middle of an episode?
I can't even. July 7th asks, what is your favorite piece of Kiss Army gear? Well, I have a misplaced piece. I didn't get it in the mail as part of my membership in the 70s. I got it on the Lost Cities leg of the Alive Worldwide Tour 96. I saw Kiss in Las Cruces, New Mexico, very spur of the moment. I think I told the story on the pod before.
I think you did.
I will when I have more time. But I got, at the show, I got a Kiss Army t-shirt and a dog tag, which was a nice, heavy little, it wasn't just a regular dog tag, like just a stamped piece of tin or whatever. It was a nice chunk of, it was a Kiss Army dog tag. And I thought it was cool. And I thought, why didn't we get these back in the day? Getting the Skyscraper poster in an Army kit, I mean, I remember that being pretty special at the time. But yeah, for some reason, getting that dog tag. And again, if Rick intended this question to refer to, officially mailed out stuff to a Kiss Army member, I apologize for the misinterpretation, but there's that. What about you?
I don't know. I don't have anything. I don't know what was included in the Kiss Army.
Would it be a T-shirt, or would it be? I mean, let's just think about anything like
just stuff on the order form.
When you want to, well, I'm just sort of looking, in your case especially, just look at it like when you leave the house and want to represent Kiss, do you go for a favorite T-shirt, or like, what says to the world, I'm a soldier in the Kiss Army?
I guess it would be the shirt, the Kiss Army shirt. I don't know, Kiss Army logo shirt. I know it's boring, but I don't know what was in it. Well, besides that,
a nebulous question deserving of nebulous answers. I do kind of wish at Tiger Stadium that I would have gotten the backpack, the olive drab Kiss Army backpack, but I didn't get that. Maybe that would have been my favorite. Let's move on to July 8th. Close out episode 28 of Hey Man, nice Kiss shirt. With this question. July 8th asks, what is the best piece of Kiss collecting advice you've ever received? And it's a short, sweet, easy answer. I've never been given any advice.
Me neither.
I follow my heart.
There you go.
I collect. Most of what I collect is centered around what I lost in the arson and what I, just basically repiecing my childhood bits. But beyond that, I've got a lot of stuff that's not that, things that are special to me, like my matchbooks, like my Cream matchbook that used to belong to Peter. I got a few things from Lydia in an auction. I like those pieces a lot. But as far as advice on what led me to those things, nobody cares about my silly hobbies, except for a select few, of which you are many. And I thank you for watching. I want Lots of comments. Lots of love for the late, great Schmoopy. On behalf of Powie here. Send him your hugs. Send him your good vibes. Put your two lips together and kiss that subscribe button. And always remember the words of the barbarian.
Play hard.
Play fair. Nobody hurt.